We also had a question from Dave Doherty, who asked us what our thoughts are on the Halo device, as in relation to the Grosjean incident. It helped him to react fast, and it's definitely saved lives and saved injuries throughout the years. I don't think we've talked much about the Halo, just because it seems like a perfectly normal part of Formula One now, and I don't really even see it anymore.
I think if we had started this podcast maybe in 2016 or 2017 when this was being introduced and they were trialing different methods of head protection, obviously we would have mentioned it before. And like you said, over the last 2 years or 2 or 3 years, we've seen some really good cases where the Halo has provided solid protection for the drivers. We've seen some good cases, but nothing like we saw today. Like, I think today's argument about the Halo is gone. You can't have that argument anymore. There's no matter, you can't turn around and say it doesn't look good, because like you said, I look at a Formula One car now, and when I see promotional stuff, so AlphaTauri back in Turkey did a promotional stuff across the bridge, and they didn't have a Halo on their car, and I was like, oh my goodness, the car looks so weird. So that whole argument is gone now because the car looks normal with the Halo. But going back to your question, Dave, it saved a life. Undoubtedly, unquestionably today, it has saved a life. So it's there to stay. And if you look at some of the photos, like post-incident of the Halo, it barely looks touched. That's how much of a good job and how structurally sound that piece of, that piece of material is. It's incredible. We'll obviously talk about the accident going forward, but it was a proper heart and mouth moment. But reassuring to see that Halo withstand such an impact. And it's there to stay, and I don't want it to go.
Yeah, you're right. It's definitely saved a life today. The only thing that would have been stopping that Aramco would have been not the Aramco. That's the sponsor, isn't it? What's the name of the barrier type? Begins with A. Is it Armco? It's something similar. I'm sure.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
But you're right. It's definitely would have been just his crash helmet taking all that impact. Otherwise, there's no question that the Halo saves lives. I'm always a little reluctant to say the argument is over. I know I don't really like to say that because it's a little too absolute for me. I think you can argue that it looks better without the Halo, but the point is that in order to do that, you have to accept that you're okay with the sport being kind of unnecessarily more dangerous.
Yeah.
That's the kind of the thing that you have to accept if you're going to say, I don't think we should have the Halo, or I don't think we should have these safety features. It's supposed to be dangerous. You can make that argument, but it's an argument that is basically waving away quite an incredible amount of risk for the drivers and has killed people throughout the years. So
yeah,
I feel pretty comfortable with keeping the Halo. And as I mentioned at the start, I don't even really see it anymore. It's just part of the car's design.
So it's not something I look at and keep on going, oh, I wish that had gone, or that looks horrible, or that shouldn't be there. We've it's been in the cars now for a couple of years, and it is part of the car. When the cars release their new liveries going forward into 2020 or 2021, when they have released liveries, it's part of the design of the car now. It is at one with the car. So, yeah. Thanks for your question. It's always very interesting to talk about safety features. And I've got a lot to talk about, actually, later on in the podcast about the FIA and how they handled today's situation. But it was originally going to be how good they handled it, and then they just got a little bit lackluster towards the end.
It was very up and down.
It was very up and down. It was a very up and down race. Like, emotional race. It really was. Like, yeah. But thank you very much, Dave. That was a really interesting question. And if you've got any thoughts on the Halo, do drop them down in the comments below if you're watching on YouTube, and or tweet us at RacePerMinute. Give us your feedback and let us know what you think.